This is the Bobbin Roll Up project from Fabazine 8, and to start off you're going to need these 4 pieces. So you're going to need the 2 pieces that make the main body of the roll up and the 2 end pieces. Now you're going to take these 2 body pieces, you're going to stitch on your piece of felt onto here first. That's going to be where you're going to add your pins and needles when it's finished. And then once you've done that, you are going to fold it over like so and stitch. I would stitch about 1 centimetre in from this edge all the way around, and then leave yourself a gap just big enough to turn it right side out, and then that's going to create the body. Now we've got to create the ends, and then we need to hand stitch this together. So to create the ends, you're actually going to be making Suffolk puffs, and I would advise doing this with a doubled over piece of thread, because you are going to be pulling this. So you've got several rings on here. This last ring towards the blue edge, you want to be running a running stitch around the edge of here. So you're just going to go in and out all the way around. Once you're all the way around, now I have got a knot in the end of mine, but I'm not going to pull it tight just yet, because once I've gone all the way around, I am going to pull this together. Now the more even you can keep your stitches, the better your finished result will be. I'm just going about probably 5 to 6 millimeters apart. And again, not pulling it tight just yet, because we're going to need a little bit of movement in there to pull it a little bit later on. But what I am making sure is my doubled over thread isn't kind of bunching up and I haven't got one piece longer than the other. So keep going, and then as soon as I'm ready to pull it, I'll show you how it comes together. Okay, so I'm almost all the way around now, and I'm going to just put this final one in, and then what we're going to do is take both of these edges. Now it will want to curve kind of in on itself and hide your fabric, so you need to actually push it the other way and then pull those tight. Keep pulling, 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 and what that will do is create a little kind of circle that's exactly the right size to create the edge of your fabric when you sew it together. So once you've pulled it all nice and tight like that, you're actually going to want to take it to the iron and give that a good press. This piece is going to go onto the inside, so you want to stitch those bits, stitch those raw edges in as best you can. You can actually just give them a little tuck underneath. There you go. Just tuck those under and then pull it nice and tight, and just a few little stitches in there will hold that secure. And then take it over to the ironing board. Just finger press it first of all to make sure you get a nice round edge on it. And then once we've got a nice round edge, we're ready to start construction. Now, I've made a mistake here, and I'm always willing to fess up to that. In the previous video, or in the previous section, when I turned everything right side out, I actually forgot to add in my piece of ribbon that's going to hold this closed. So what you actually need, I've already pressed this so it was nice and flat, but it's alright. I'd rather make honest videos as well, that kind of show the mistakes, warts and all, and then also it shows you how to fix them if you've made them yourself. So when I sewed around this top bit, what I should have done was sandwich in between these 2 layers the little bit of ribbon, so it was the loop was facing in and the end was facing out like that in between these 2 layers and stitched round. So because I've missed that out, I can actually quite easily go back and correct this. So all I need to do, now I have to do this carefully because I've already put my little snips into there, is just where the centre at the top is, so let's just find the centre. I'm just going to fold it in half. So I'm going to find the centre, so the centre is going to be there. I'm just going to take that stitch out that's there, and then just a couple either side. Now I'm keeping one of my threads there, and I've only broken the one on this side. That will stop it kind of running away from me and leaving too big a gap. Now what I can do now is just feed in that ribbon and then stitch back along there to correct it. So I'll go away now, I'll add that in, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to finish the assembly. Okay, so my correction's made, and now I have my ribbon attached as well. The final step for this is to start sewing it together. So I've got just a needle and thread here. I'm only going to use a single strand this time, just because it's going to give you a nice kind of fine stitch that you don't need to worry about too much. And we're going to use the Suffolk puff side on the inside. You can have it on the outside if you prefer that look. And we're going to start on one end, and then just using a ladder stitch, we're going to work our way all the way around to about 2/3 of the way around. I'm just going to hide that on the inside. Just tie this off so it's a little bit neater. 1, 2, and then we can hide that on the inside as we stitch around. So in terms of a ladder stitch, what you can do is once you've secured it, you're going to pick up some fabric from one side. Oops, it's caught around my thread ripper there. And then from the other side, about the same amount. And you're going in and out of the gap in the Suffolk puff to do that. And then we keep going, and we kind of wind it round as we go. And about 2/3 of the way around, you're going to stop, because you want to be able to get the bobbins in and out of the bobbin carrier once you've completed it. Now this is a great size for kind of a handbag sewing kit, or something you can take with you on the go. So I'm going to do a couple more stitches, and then I'll come back to you when both sides are on and show you the completed piece. With both of those ends on, you can see that this is how the finished bobbin carrier will look. So it's enough to get 2 of your regular sized bobbins in, or if I just quickly whip these out, it will get 1 of your larger sized ones in there as well. A couple of space for little pins and needles, and then it will fold over, and then your thread will wrap around and it will tie off just like that.